What's up everybody, Simon here. I am doing an update to my California Exodus video, which did really well on the channel over a year or so ago. You could check out that video if you want, and I kind of predicted this exodus. This is before all these corporations moved out, before Larry Ellison decided to pack up, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and everybody in between. Ever since then, so many companies have moved out of California, and California has had a second year of exodus in history since the state was formed. About 175,000 or so people left in 2021 and about 186 or so thousand people left in 2020 from California. As the exodus continues, we're going to go ahead and look at some factors as to why this is happening and what is going on in California that's preventing people from staying in California or even preventing people from coming into California and enjoying the beauty of the state, which was once beautiful. I would say it's had its better days. So the California exodus is still happening, and I'm going to go over it and give you my thoughts on it. California became a state in 1850, and it's known for its beautiful scenery, its mountainsides, great hiking trails, a lot of activities you could do out here. San Francisco was once a thriving city. It was gorgeous. There was a lot of financial opportunity. People loved to vacation in San Francisco. It brought a lot of culture. It brought a lot of fun activities. However, all of that has dwindled, and what's happening is the biggest cities in California, including Los Angeles and San Francisco, or the San Francisco Bay Area, are seeing a lot of people leave. In fact, San Francisco has had a decline of 30% in its population, one of the biggest declines ever since this exodus started. And a lot of people are moving out of the bigger cities because of the cost of living. People are getting a small apartment, a small house, sometimes 2 to 3 times the price of what you could get outside of the state, with a much bigger place, more bedrooms, and more comfortable living. A lot of people are moving out of San Francisco into the suburbs, actually driving costs up in the surrounding counties. Even in the Los Angeles area, counties that surround Los Angeles are being driven in terms of price and people moving in. Even though the state has lost people in terms of influx or exodus, a lot of people have moved out of the main cities into more of the suburb areas, and then a lot of people just moved out of state because they were done with the rising costs, rising crime rate, traffic. I mean, traffic is ridiculous, especially in the Los Angeles area. I know people have been stuck in those commutes for hours, and I've personally been in them as well. I would never live in Los Angeles. In San Francisco, during the biggest boom of Silicon Valley, we've had crazy traffic as well heading over to San Jose or Silicon Valley. That has dwindled a bit with work from home opportunity, and both cities that we're looking at, San Francisco and Los Angeles, are just filthy. Open drug use all over the cities, open crime all over the cities. People are being able to steal anything they want in any store they want, and as long as it's under $950 or so, they get away with it with a misdemeanor. In fact, police do not prosecute these people, do not arrest them anymore, and district attorney's office does not prosecute these people because the law is so much in the criminal side nowadays that they book them and let them go that same day.
The suspects walking in and simply loading up bags of goods and walking out.
I have a couple buddies that are in law enforcement, and what they tell me is that they rather not waste their time fighting this type of crime when those people that are stealing and looting or looting stores simply just get arrested for that day and get discharged that same day with a no bail or no cash bail bond. So basically people are being booked, let go, and they may not even show up to their next court hearing. They may not even have a court hearing because cities like San Francisco and maybe Los Angeles are just not prioritizing these type of crimes. In fact, they're encouraging these type of crimes because they're not prosecuting the individuals that commit them. So what we're seeing is a lot of burglaries, especially car thefts. Car thefts are up through the roof. In fact, there were so many car thefts in San Francisco with broken glass. There was a glass shortage. There was not enough glass to fix the vehicles that were broken in the city alone.
Has it come to this? Drivers leaving their back doors wide open to show thieves there's nothing valuable inside. The startling photo was taken in Oakland, California, in a region staggered by a wave of smash-and-grab robbery.
On top of that, we've seen the looting, the crazy looting at Neiman Marcus, downtown Union Square, at Louis Vuitton, Gucci, all these jewelry places in the Bay Area. The looters are no longer just sticking to San Francisco. They're branching out to suburban areas of San Francisco, such as Walnut Creek.
Like a well-organized operation, people sprinted to waiting cars carrying bags full of merchandise from Nordstrom's in Walnut Creek Saturday night. In one dramatic scene, a car veered around a police SUV to make a getaway, but another officer stopped him with his gun drawn. 3 people were arrested. All are charged with robbery. One of them is also charged with being a felon in possession of a gun.
And this is why people are getting out of California, because they don't feel safe. And when you don't feel safe, you are simply just wasting your time and your family's time, and you're constantly nervous going out. Mind you, California is one of the highest tax states in the country. So on top of that, living here, you're paying additional taxes to live in the state, as opposed to thriving states like Texas or Florida, where you're not paying any additional income tax. You simply pay the federal tax, and the state provides all of these amenities, a much safer environment, maybe a growing economic environment. Also, what's contributing to the exodus is the difficulty of having employees in California. California is one of the worst states to hire people. The employment in California is very favored towards the employee, not the employer. Employees are getting lazier, they're claiming unemployment, and they're also maybe not paid as well to live up to the standards that California politicians or government has set for costs of living. So now employees don't have enough money to pay for what the income disparity is to live in California, so they're frustrated. They may not want the job, and at the same time, employers have no say in anything that happens in the workforce. It's rated as the worst state to run a business. In fact, it is the worst state by CEO.com to run a business in California. And that's why we're seeing a big business exodus as well. And businesses that are leaving are taking their employees with them. On top of that, why are people leaving, or why is the California exodus continuing to happen? The mandates. California has some of the strictest mandates in the country. Not only are you forced to wear a mask, get fully vaccinated, mask anyway, show your papers everywhere you go, which is your proof of vaccinations everywhere.
Hi, this is Kate. I'm calling from Tobacco Restaurant in San Francisco. Beginning today, San Francisco is requiring proof of vaccination for all indoor diners. And then we will need a photo ID as well as either your vaccination card, a photo of your vaccination card, or your registered QR code.
But people are feeling like they're almost held like a prisoner here. There is a sense of lack of freedom where you're not able to go to certain places. Now they're segregating or separating individuals based on their status of vaccination. Whether you're for it or against it, that's up to you to decide. You could comment below of how crazy things have gotten, but now everybody's being separated, and people don't want to live like that. There are people that don't want to get the vaccine, and there are people that do want to get the vaccine, and you should have, in my opinion, a choice to do what you should want to do for your body and what's best for yourself and your family. In California, you're not having that. So not only are schools probably soon going to require vaccines for your children, but you were also really forced to be vaccinated to be at a job that you're at or to earn a living, which is ridiculous. So a lot of companies in California were requiring you to be vaccinated, even though the federal government has ruled that requiring a vaccine to keep a job is not constitutional, and it's an overreach of the government. California has lost a lot of people because they refuse to get vaccinated, or they refuse to put on a mask on their children the whole day while others are not masked up, or the governor's not masked up at a football game with the mayor, etc.
High-profile politicians are also under fire. California Governor Gavin Newsom, along with the mayors of LA and San Francisco, on the defensive over photos showing them without masks posing with Magic Johnson.
And by the way, did you guys see what the mayor of Los Angeles actually said as to why he was not wearing a mask, which is his own mandated requirement or recommendation?
I wore my mask the entire game, and when people ask for a photograph, I hold my breath and I put it here and people could see that. There's a 0% chance of infection from that.
He said he took off his mask to take a picture, and during that time, he was not breathing at all, which is the funniest thing I've ever heard. It's insane. The people that have set these mandated rules and that have pushed these mandates on our children, on everybody in the offices and so forth, they don't follow those rules themselves. Yet we are forced to mask our children and so forth. Now you add the crazy high costs of living where homes average $1 million plus, and we're talking $2 million for some terrible rundown homes that look like a crackhead trap house where crackheads or drug addicts were living, and you're paying $2 million. Then you got to pay an additional $500,000 to remodel it just to live in a state where you're paying the most taxes, and you're not even in the best school district, or you don't have the best neighborhood.
Wow.
That's how crazy California has gotten. So it's no surprise that people are packing up and leaving to other states where they don't have to pay any income tax whatsoever. You add that to the inflation costs that's happening nowadays, the rising food prices, the highest gas price in the country with the gas tax that we have. People just cannot afford to live here. They don't want to work for the measly dollars that are provided by employers, which cannot afford to even keep those employees with all these requirements for safety, requirements to be COVID compliant, not being allowed to operate your business, having to shut down half your restaurant, then a quarter, then half, then outdoor only, and everything in between. People don't like it. They don't want it. And that's why they are leaving. And I'm surprised that more people have not left. People in the past video have said, then what are you still doing in California? Well, personally, for me, I have several businesses in California. I still have my parents here. My wife has her parents here, and there's grandparents in California. In fact, 2 sets of grandparents. So we are waiting to see how things progress, and eventually we may move out, either full-time, part-time, etc. But it's going to happen because I don't see the state improving. I just see the taxes going up and you're getting less for your dollars. The roads aren't fixed. The streets are dirtier than ever. It's even so bad that the ex-mayor, Mayor Willie Brown, has complained about it himself on camera with the local news.
When you walk in certain parts of the city, you can't even walk on the sidewalk without getting permission of the people who control the sidewalk, and they are allegedly the homeless.
When you were mayor, it was the homeless. Now it appears that most of these are drug addicts and mentally ill people, and they're compounding in the Tenderloin. They've basically taken over that neighborhood.
Anything you do in this town with reference to homeless is a political risk.
Why?
It's simple. San Francisco has a reputation of being so humane, and there's so many organizations and individuals who want to display that. They don't want you, and they don't want San Francisco accused of not being humane.
As you could see, even he says something has to be done. And just like the 1% rule, which I made a video on, if you let little things slide every day, overall, it's going to lead to a major big problem down the line, and things are just going to collapse, break, or shatter. And that's what California is becoming. It's a shattered, broken state. The great California exodus continues. More and more people will leave. People will want to save their money from taxes. They're able to work from many locations. That's what's driving some of the exodus, and it's going to continue to happen until we get better politics, better policies, better pay, more affordable housing if possible, and just overall a better quality of life for what you get here with less restrictions, less mandates, and just happier people. Because one thing I'm seeing about California is people are not as happy in this state as they are in other states. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, always ask you guys to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Comment below with your thoughts on the California exodus. Again, check out my original video. This was before everybody left. I knew this was coming. And I hope to catch you here in the next video. Thank you for watching.